Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha, Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha, Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha, Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha. Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. श्री श्री गौरीता की, श्री श्री राधोल भगवान की, श्री 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 जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा माँ की, शिल प्रभुपाद की, निताय गौर वृंदे। हरे कृष्णा। Hare Krishna. So today we are reading Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 14, verse number 42, which is the last verse of this chapter on ideal family life. So this last verse is primarily glorifying a preacher, a brahmana or a devotee who preaches the message of God, the message of teachings of God and love of God to all the people of the world. And such a person is very glorious. And how glorious is something this verse talks about. So it is ideally a summary and concluding verse. The last verse, the concluding verse, that captures essence of all the teachings in that chapter in just one summary. Okay? So it culminates in that point. And this is a verse that we have got today. So we'll read and discuss along with Prabhupada purport and translation and so on. So let us invoke auspiciousness. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So let us first read word by word, then we'll read the full verse. Nanu asya brahmanaha rajan krishnasya jagat atmanaha punataha padarajasya Trilokim Daivatam Mahat. Nanva Asya Brahmana Rajan. Nanva Asya Brahmana Rajan. Krishnasya Jagat Atmanaha. Krishnasya Jagat Atmanaha. Punataha Padarajasya. Punataha Padarajasya. Trilokim Devatam Mahat. Trilokim Devatam Mahat. Nana Asya Brahmana Rajan Krishnasya Jagatatmanaha Punataha Padarajasya Trilokim Devatam Mahat Nanvasya Brahmana Rajan Krishnasya Jagatatmanaha Punataha Padarajasya Trilokim Devata Mahat Nanvasya Brahmana Rajan Krishnasya Jagatatmanaha Punataha Padarajasya Trilokim Devata Mahat. Krishnasya Jagatatmanaha Punata Padarajasya Trilokim Devatam Mahat Nanvasya Brahmana Rajan Krishnasya Jagatatmanaha Punataha Padarajasya Trilokim Devatam Mahat Nanvasya Brahmana Rajan So we will read what translation? Nano, but Asya, by him, Brahmanaha, the qualified Brahmanas, Rajan, O King, Krishnasya, by Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Jagat Atmanaha, who is the life and soul of the whole creation. Punantaha, sanctifying. Padarajasya, by the dust of the lotus feet. Trilokin, the three words. Daivatam, worshipable. Mahat, most exalted. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki. My dear King Yudhishthira, the Brahmanas, especially those engaged in preaching the glories of the Lord throughout the entire world, are recognized and worshipped by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the heart and soul of all creation. The Brahmanas, by their preaching, sanctify the three words with the dust of the lotus feet, and thus they are worshipable even for Krishna. Purport. As admitted by Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita chapter 18 verse 69, Nacha tasman manuseshu karsin me priya kartamaha. The Brahmanas preach the cult of Krishna consciousness all over the world, and therefore, although they worship Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord also recognizes them as worshipable. The relationship is reciprocal. The Brahmanas want to worship Krishna. Thank you, Prabhupada. The Brahmanas want to worship Krishna, and similarly, Krishna want to worship the Brahmanas. In conclusion, therefore, Brahmanas and Vaishnavas who are engaged in preaching the glories of the Lord must be worshipped by religionists, philosophers, and people in general. At the Rajasuya Yajna of Maharaj Yudhishthira, many hundreds and thousands of Brahmanas were present. Yet, Krishna was selected to be worshipped first. Therefore, Sri Krishna is always the Supreme Person. But by his causeless mercy, he recognized the Brahmanas as dearmost to him. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the 7th canto, 14th chapter of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, entitled Ideal Family Life. Om Ajnana Trivindasya Jnananjaya Salakaya Jaksurlimitamena Tasme Sri Guruve Namaha Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishnapadaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamiti Namini Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pachata Desha Tarani Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Sivasadi Gaura Bhaktavanda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So as we all know, so this Śrīmad Bhāgavatam Prabandha 7, Canto 7 is called a science of God. You know, materially when we say science, science means study of nature. So here we are study of nature of God, nature of living beings and what is the relationship. Not only a direct instruction like a theory, so this is like a theoretical statement, but with practical illustration, taking from the life of various devotees from ages all the way from Satya Yoga, Treta Yoga, Dwapara Yoga and Kali Yoga also. So any Kali Yoga, for example, Prabhupada, as this verse states, you know, so the Brahmanas, Vaishnavas are able to preach the message of God all over 3 worlds, not only Prithvi, but all over 3 worlds. Upper planetary, Prithvi, lower planetary, even other universes. And by doing so, what do? They sanctify the place because they are going those places and they are, working on those places, and due to that, those places are becoming purified. And this is what? And such a person is worshipable, not only worshipable by, common people, but also Supreme Lord, Krishna. So much of glory, so much of honor Lord is bestowing on those his devotees. So now let us go through each of these, words or the statements more in depth. Then, of course, just as a summary of this chapter, because this is the last verse of this chapter. So it starts with, says, O Rajan. So who is Rajan? Here it refers to Maharaj Yudhishthira Maharaj. So this is a conversation between Narada Muni and Yudhishthira Maharaj. So actually the entire canto is that conversation. Even if you go back to a couple of chapters earlier, where the life of great devotees such as Prahlad Maharaj was described. So there was also conversation. Then now comes to inquiry by Maharaj Yudhishthira, understanding, given that now he is ideally in a family life, grastha. So he wanted to know how to live this ideal family life so that he can perfect himself. Then of course through us, that information is passed to us. We can also learn the life, those teachings, and try to adapt in our life. So normally when we say family, correct, starts with grastha, starts with marriage of a man and woman. Correct? So this is the stages of life. You are born, become brahmachari, maybe attained age of 20, 22, 23, 24, 25. Then maybe brahmachari, you don't want to continue. All right, no problem, you become a grastha, get married. So the moment you get married, so now you have husband and wife. And when 2 people are there, They can't live in anywhere they want. They have to have a house. So now they have to buy a house or get a house through inheritance or some one house. Then the house doesn't stop there. Then they will have the moment men and women unite, the natural byproduct is children. So how to maintain them? So therefore you need to start working for living, for maintenance of the family. So of course this verse talks about how much you should work, how much you should earn. There is no limit. Correct? So therefore here the verse says that one should work just to keep his body and soul together, and of course take care of family members reasonably. Then if there is anything extra, you can contribute towards some glorious activities. So it clearly says that don't do ugra karma. Sometimes we are so much of engrossed in our work to earn more and more and more endless, thinking that when you retire you can enjoy the life. That is a fallacy. We have seen so many people worked so hard, then at the age of 60 or before they died by leaving big bank balance. Then who owns that bank balance? Sometimes government will take over, or sometimes some relatives will take over. Sometimes somebody says, I had a relationship with this person, that person will take over. And these days people are working so hard, so now they don't have any love of anybody except dog, so they write will to the dog. Now this dog is the owner of all my property. Correct? This is how the is going on. So this verse, the teaching so far in the previous verses talks about simple living, high thinking. Not simply living, simple living. Simply living, no thinking, that is of no use. Correct? Simple living, high thinking. So here, all these teachings by Narada Muni to Maharaj Yudhishthira, talking about how to enhance our consciousness from Annamaya Kosha to Jnana Vijnanamaya Kosha. Correct? If you see all the living entities in this world, most of them are interested in Anna, food. Then from there, even the bacteria, even the ants. So ants, when they enter into the temple, where do they go? They don't come and sit down on this Vyasasana. They go straight to the place where they can find Anna. That is Charanamrita, because the sweet, coming from lotus feet. Of course, that is also glorious if they can have a, Charanamrita. Sometimes they hover around below, because sometimes devotees who are taking Charanamrita, they might drop some and they are enjoying the feasting on that Mahaprasada of a devotee. So Annamaya Kosha. From there, protection, Pranamaya Kosha. Like that, different koshas finally come to Jnana and Vijnana. And here, today we are talking about Vijnana. Correct? Vijnana is a wisdom coming from a realized practical person such as Narada Muni. See, Narada Muni doesn't give instructions simply, just randomly. So he is realized, he also went through a life, multiple life to become such a Devarsi Narada Muni. So Muni among all the Devas. So Narada Muni is giving that practical knowledge. Then move on. Then of course, after earning, every day what should we do apart from earning? He says every day one should worship Supreme Person of Godhead. That means in our life, every day we worship Krishna. How we worship Krishna? We can worship Krishna simply by chanting holy name. Of course, the worship, when we say having full, ritually performing worship by taking all the paraphernalia, having a deity, that's a worship what we say. But you can also worship in mind. So there are devotees who perfected their life by worshipping in the mind. In the mind, you can imagine you have constructed the most gorgeous, the beautiful temple of Supreme Lord in the best place on earth. And then you have invited Vishwakarma himself to, make the deity, the beautiful deity of Radha Krishna and put there. Then of course you invited so many devotees from all over the world, then performing puja. That's also you can do. And there are devotees perfecting their life like that. Yeah. So that is one instruction. And then after that, of course, as a grahastha, So we have father, mother, children, so many things around us. So therefore we should also engage in, for example, if your parents or forefather passed away, you perform Shraddha ceremony. So that is also discussed. Then, and of course, as Grahasthas, you are not satisfied simply being at home all the time. Work home, not satisfied. Maybe you come to temple, not satisfied. Just being in Melbourne, not satisfied. You want to go outside Melbourne. Not only outside Melbourne, outside country. You want to travel to America, want to travel to Timbuktu or Mauritius, wherever. You want to go different places. So, where should we go? So, that is also explained very nicely. The best is to visit Tirthas, the holy dhams, where Supreme Lord is, where there are holy rivers are flowing, where devotees, great devotees have lived. So visit there. So why visit there? When you visit there and perform some devotional activity, maybe even chanting of holy name, Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. If you do that in holy places, say for example Vrindavan, the effect, the result will be 1,000 times more than chanting somewhere on the random street. This is what Śrīmad Bhāgavatam says. We had this discussion very depth. Then finally, the last 1-2 verses talks about Grahastha, who is a brahmana. Right? A Grahastha can be brahmana, Grahastha can be Kshatriya, Grahastha can be Vyapari, Vaishya, Grahastha can be Sudra, laborer. Everybody can be Grahasthas. Correct? Just Monday, we had a Labor Day, celebrating all the workers of Victoria, except university professors. So, we have 4 classes, and these people who are working in university are considered the 5th class, when below labor. So, there was no holiday for me, for example. Yeah, but others had holiday. So, anyway, so we are celebrating all of these people, worker people also. Similarly, here, Śrīmad Bhāgavatam is not so much celebrating the worker class, it is celebrating the highest class, that is Brahmana, who is knowledgeable. So, it talks about so the last verse, the previous one, a qualified Brahmana must be accepted as the best within the material world. Anyway, the best of bad bargain. We are in this material world, inferior energy of Lord. So, who is the best among the living beings in this world? Brahmana. So, why is the Brahmana the best? So, now we will see, their qualities. So, if you see the first line, now Asha Brahmana Rajan. So, here Rajan, Maharaj Yudhishthira, then Brahmana. So, who is Brahmana? So this is one who will act as brain. So, sometimes analogies are given. So, if you see our own body as an entire creation, so usually we think this head is more superior compared to the leg. Correct? Anyway, all of them are necessary. We need this head part, we need hand part, we need stomach part, we need leg part. Without that, we are not a perfect human. We can't walk from one place to other place. So this head is like a Brahmana, this arms like Kshatriya, because I can't clean the temple with my head. So I can use my arm, of course. Mind can give direction, but I'm using arm to do certain activity. Then Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya. Vaishya taking care, maintenance of whole thing. So this stomach, when we feed the food, so this is the one, stomach is the machine. He is able to process it, convert that food, whatever you are taking, into energy. Nourish the rest of the parts. Then this leg has to carry you here and there. Correct? So all of them are working. So here, just like we have say head, so the brain part, so one that acts as brain. So in the society, now this is one cell. Now you go to the entire society. In entire society, so we have intellectual classes, people who, more knowledgeable and give guidance to the rest of the society. Such people are intellectuals. Okay? So teachers, for example, in material world, teachers. So these Brahmanas. So what are the qualities of these Brahmanas? So Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, in last chapter, in concluding chapter, so verse 42, he says, samodama tapa saucham kasantir arjavan evacha jnanam vijnana asaktim brahma karma sabhavajam. So here brahmana is first samo, means brahmana is one who is peaceful. Who can be peaceful? One who is self-satisfied. Right? So otherwise our mind is a monkey, never be peaceful. So brahmana is one who is peaceful. Of course, this is called peace formula. We can always go quite deeper in other verses, but this is peaceful. Then damaha. So this brahmana is self-controlled. Self-controlled. Why self-controlled? Because our senses demand so many things endlessly. Our eye wants to see a beautiful thing. Then we want to hear some melodious songs of different people. Some like to hear melodious songs sung by Govinda Das. Vraja-ra mana Śrīnanda. But whether others want to see songs sung by some actor. Correct? Suppose you go on singing Vraja-ra mana Śrīnanda abhaya charana ravindare. Or so like our Sankirtan devotees. So they are saying Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. They are doing this kirtan weekend, different various days in the week in Swanson Street, other streets in Melbourne. How many are hearing? Even though it is free, correct? They don't have to go to the Melbourne cricket ground to hear. The devotees are going to their places and singing, and attraction is not that mass. But still, of course, even if one person attracted, there is success of Sankirtan. Why it is success? In fact, Prabhupada's guru, Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, had created Gaudiya Math, established Gaudiya Math across multiple big cities across India during 1930, 40, 50, in those periods. Right? So at that time, Bhaktivedanta Maharaj said, we have all this big temple worth, millions and millions of rupees. If I can sell all of them and make 1% devotee, I consider my life success. Making a person a devotee of Lord is not easy. We think it is easy. So just because we come to temple, we became a devotee. So it is very difficult actually. So difficult. So Maharaj, Bhaktisiddhanta Swasti Goswami Maharaj is saying that. Then of course Prabhupada said that, we sweat tons and gallons of this blood to make 1% devotee. So let us make sure that this person remains as a devotee. Yeah, making them interested in Krishna consciousness and then maintaining them so that they continue to be. Correct? Treating them nicely, that's what it means. Correct? If somebody becomes a devotee, then the person, got impressed by the kirtan in the Swanson Street and comes to the temple, and we don't look after that person nicely, or at least be nicely, not be harsh to other person. So if he will become hard, then think that what is this, he will go back, never comes. So that maintaining them. So it is important. So with so much of effort, people, devotees like Prabhu jumping at the age of 60, 65 in various places, impressing them and making them sing and making them dance and somehow attract them to the temple. So those who are the temple, we have responsibility. Yeah, there is one. So there is damaha, self-control. They are controlled, their senses are controlled. And in fact, so in Nectar of Instruction, this is about control. The first instruction is given very beautiful. Nectar of Instruction by Sri Rupa Goswami. So the first instruction says, Vacho vegam, manasa krodha vegam, jiva vegam, udrapastha vegam, ethan vegan, yo visheta dhiraha, sarvam apiman pratvim sa sishyat. What it says is, a person who is able to control urges of this tongue and Of course, tongue, urge means it may want to speak, it may want to eat different things. Urge of this mind also demands so many things. Then urges of action. Sometimes our desires are not fulfilled, we become angry. We want something to be done this way, we become angry. So that anger, urge, should also be controlled. And urges are bellies and genitals. So one who is able to control, such a person is qualified to make disciples all over the world. If you want to have a disciple, student, sishyas, all over the world, how can you have it? You need to have this quality, self-control. Able to control desires of tongue, desires of belly, desires of mind, desires of genital, all the desires, if you are able to control, self-satisfied, and such self-control, Dhamma, you will be able to make disciples all over the world. So this is the quality of brahmana. And of course, this verse is talking about how they are able to purify three loka. So then tapa, of course, some austerity. So then saucham, purity is also important. Purity is the essence, right? Purity of mind, purity of our thoughts, and also purity of our body as well, and purity of our dress as well. That's why we say, if you are doing, deity worship, so please wear some pure cloth, right? Externally pure, internally pure. Externally pure, at least for the suha of those who are come here, correct? If you wear a dirty shirt, dirty cloth, and all you go, people may not get impressed, the common people, correct? But those who are the pure brahmana, the pure persons, they can see Lord in each and everything. Pandita samadarshaniya, one who is the pandita, one who has become pure Krishna consciousness, one who is uttamadhikari, the highest pure devotee. Such person can see Krishna in everything. When he sees Krishna, he sees, oh, this is the Krishna and the tree. He sees Krishna there. And we had that verse also. A pure devotee is able to see Supreme Lord in every its heart as Paramatma. So that is why we worship that person, we respect that person, honor that person. Correct? That is, then kashantaha, tolerance. That person is very tolerant. See, preaching is not easy. We know that. Even in Melbourne. So now is easy. You can go Friday night, any evening, any day, do kirtan. It's okay, no problem. But if you go back to 1975, if you do that, kirtan in Melbourne, what happens? The police will capture you. Not only capture you, take you and put you into the jail. Some of the disciples of Prabhupada were put into the jail, okay, just for doing kirtan in Swanson Street. Correct? And of course, over a period of time, they did, but they realized that these people are actually very glorious, very peaceful, very tolerant. We put them into jail. They didn't protest that much. And in jail also they well behaved. Other gundas or some of the people who put them into jail, what do? They create so much a problem for police. If you give them food, they will just throw it away. It happens, we see some of the movie, you give them a food in the jail, they don't want to eat, they will just throw it away. What is this? Not tasty at all. Bring us nice food. Right? But whether the devotees accept, of course they expect it to be at least vegetarian, at least they expect it to be offered to Supreme Lord, or they might offer themselves in their mind and have it to sustenance. So due to their well-behavior in the jail also, they were released, then they said, okay, these people are very good, let them do chanting. So now that is why we can go freely and do this chanting. You see, the previous devotees have sacrificed so much because of them. So we have that, ease of practicing Bhakti Yoga. Then, Arjavan, they are honest. They do what they say. That's called honesty. Correct? So they don't preach one thing to everybody, then do something else themselves. No. So both walking and talking, same. Okay? And then, so they are jnanam. So they have jnana, wisdom is their knowledge. In their life, they focused on developing wisdom of Supreme God, for example. And they have vijnana also. Knowledge and jnana and vijnana. Jnana and vijnana are different. Jnana, okay, I am reading. No, just I read, but never understood anything. So only jnana. Sometimes Bhagavad Gita. We know verses of Bhagavad Gita left and right. but we are not able to understand how to put that in practice in our life and how to explain to others so that they can put in practice. That's the Vijnana. Correct? Jnana and Vijnana. So they have Vijnana, realized knowledge, not just knowledge from the book. That is kind of like a parrot. Parrot also repeats verses of Bhagavad Gita. So there are some parrots can tell you, okay, please tell me the first verse of Bhagavad Gita. They will tell you. Dhartarashtra Vacha, they will start. Tell me last verse of Bhagavad Gita. They will tell you. Dharma, then Yatra Yogeswara Krishna, Yatra Partha Dhanudara. But does it have Vijnana? No. So Vijnana only the realized soul has it, such as Narada Muni. So Narada Muni, that's why he is giving those instructions. So these are the qualities of, Jnana. Of course, Brahmana. And Brahmanas also Asaktikayam. So of course they are also, religious. Means they know purpose of life, goal of life, how to put Lord into their life. Now who is Lord? The second verse is Krishnasya Jagat Atmanaha. So they consider Krishna, who is Jagat Atmanaha, who is the life and soul of entire creation. Spiritual world, in between Brahman and also material world. He is the creation. Krishnasya Jagat Atmanaha. Of course, we know Krishnasya here refers to Lord Sri Krishna, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Jagat Atmanaha. So, he is Atma of entire Jagat. So, this Narada is saying. And in Bhagavad Gita also you have these statements. Krishna says, Aham Sarvasya Prabhoha, Mata Sarvam Parvatate. Krishna is saying that I am the source of Sarvasya Prabhoha. That is spiritual world and material world. And Mata Sarvam Parvatate. That is, everything that you see is actually emanating from him. So this is further clarified by Narada Muni. Even this water is creation of Krishna. Why Krishna made water? He knows we become thirsty in summer more often and we need to quench that thirst. We need water. This is energy actually, Krishna's energy. Water is energy. Water has a lot of energy. Because of that we can continue to sustain. Otherwise we become dry, skinny, no water. So water is the source of life actually. Of course, because the source of that source is Krishna. If water is the source of life, and who is the source of the water? Krishna is the source of water. So very kind. He has given water also. Otherwise we can't come to this world without water. So of course, Krishna is, in other verses in earlier chapter, he says, Sarva Loka Maheswaram, Sudram Sarva Bhutanam. So he is not only Jagat Atmanaha, he is also Sudram Sarva Bhutanam. So he is the well-wishing friend of all the living entities. What to speak of devotees? Correct? Those who are devoted to Krishna. Devotees means those who are devoted to teachings of Krishna, means adopting those teachings in their life and acting accordingly. So those are devotees. So he is a well-wishing friend. So he is a benefactor. He is the one who is actually ultimately taking care of us. Correct? So by giving water, by giving air, by giving light, by giving fruits, flowers, so that we can eat and sustain ourselves. So he is a source of all of that. So this is Lord has explained. So that is Krishnasya Jagat Atmanaha. I hope this is clear. Krishnasya Jagat Atmanaha. Okay, that is second line of the verse. Now the third one. Punataha Padarajasya Trilokim. Punataha, sanctify, purify. Who can do that? Padarajasya. Pada means of course the feet. Rajasya, that by the dust of their lotus feet. Means this brahmana with those qualities, so he is able to sanctify three lokas. Not just one loka, not just one city or one continent, entire the universe. They can purify simply by the dust of lotus feet. That means by walking to those places. See, how can my dust will be there? Suppose I came by barefoot, walked everywhere and came here. My dust will be there only when I walked there. Correct? What they mean is, so these brahmanas, the Vaishnavas, who are pure in their heart, who have a jnana and vijnana, and they are able to purify entire three world, three lokim, by simply going to all those places. So this is very important. So Pada Rajasya, lotus feet. Dust up, their lotus feet. Rajasya is the dust. Pada, lotus, feet. Pada is three lokim. So this is important. And because of their glorify, even we just finished first Guru Vandana, the last verses, Ebe Jas Gusuku Tribhavana. Saying that your glory is spread all over the three world. The last statement there is written. Your fame is the Guru's fame. The spiritual master fame is spread all over three world. Why? Because they are sanctifying, purifying. That is Punatana, third line, Punatana. They are able to purify all those words. And, so how they are able to purify? In the translation, Prabhupada says, the brahmanas, by their preaching, sanctify the three worlds with the dust of the lotus feet. So they are not doing, going to three worlds for holiday, for sightseeing. Correct? Sometimes people go either holiday or sightseeing to different places. So these Mahatmas, these devotees are going to all those places for what? For preaching. What is preaching? Somehow inducing everyone there to become Krishna consciousness. Somehow inspiring. So if Narada or the devotees, when you go to different places, they inspire others to become godly, so that they can survive, live godly life. Sometimes people advertise godly delight. Correct? Means the delight, your life is so much delightful in Krishna consciousness. So somehow they induce, somehow they inspire them, influence them, encourage them through their own action, through their life. People follow us only when we also have some, status in the world. Correct? Suppose you are a very well-behaved person, people follow you. You are very beautiful, people follow you. Correct? So very, very beautiful person in the world, and you put your photo on Instagram, you have 10 million followers. Correct? Or you are very powerful personality in the world, high position, like you become a prime minister of country, then people follow you, so many people follow you. Correct? Or you are very highly educated person in the world, you ask any question, he will give answer. Correct? So you ask him, where is the gold in this earth? He will tell you exactly the point. That person is so glorified. Correct? Knowledgeable person, beautiful person. And of course, the person who is renounced, just like Narada Muni, he is not focused on building his own mansion. He is simply going to other places to enlighten others. He is also attractive. So, such people. So, they are very compassionate. So, if you look at, for example, Narada Muni. So, Narada Muni himself is a preacher. Who is Narada Muni? Devarsi Narada Muni is a preacher. And Lord Narayana is so much impressed by his dedication to preaching. So, he is given, boon, tatastu, boon. He is able to go from one world to other for simply by will. He doesn't have to buy a train ticket or a bus ticket or aeroplane ticket to go from. He by will, along with his baggage, veena. He doesn't carry money, just one veena, and so Narayana like this, glorifying Lord. He will go from one world to other world by within a second, faster than speed of mind. Correct? Our speed of mind can in a second, we can be in any world that you like. Correct? So that fast he is able to go. And do what? He is able to preach the glories of Supreme Lord. So all over the world. And as a result, so this Narada Muni also made, many great disciples. Who are the great disciples? In here itself, we heard in previous chapters about glories of Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad was one of the great disciples, one of the Mahajanas. So he is a disciple of Narada Muni. Right? He taught him in the womb of a mother. You see. So that is the ability of Narada Muni. Whereas we may try to preach them, teach them directly in person, pacify them, honor them, do so many things, still very difficult. But if you become so pure like Narada Muni, you can do that, and he has done. Then he has many others like Vyasa Muni himself was a disciple. Then of course Dhruva Maharaj is a disciple of Narada Muni. Then Prachana Bhari. In Canto 4 we heard a lot about life of Prachana Bhari. And there are allegory to explain Prachana Bhari, how to transform your life from simply doing yajna to go to heavenly planet. Why don't you become a devotee? So example of the Puranjana. Correct? So he has made even great kings. Then of course even Valmiki Muni, hunter. So all these people, whether they are kings or grahasthas or some, maybe leading a life in a very simple way by killing animals like this Valmiki Muni. So by association of Narada Muni, by following teaching of Narada Muni, they have become great personalities. And so this is about Narada Muni. He is a preacher. Similarly, even Prabhupada himself. Prabhupada, at the age of 70, so he is able to go to various places within this earthly planet and purified, just like we say, Trilokim, Pada Rajasya. So with their lotus feet, they are able to purify the Triloka. Prabhupada is also able to purify so many countries, so many continents throughout this planet. So what did he do? Preach. So to inspire everyone to take up Krishna Bhakti. That is what Krishna Prabhupada did. Of course, why did he build temple? That is not the goal of Prabhupada, building big buildings at the temple. The goal was to somehow make all these people devotees. Make them their consciousness, Krishna consciousness. That was his goal. So having a nice temple means it attracts people. If a temple is nicely done, it attracts people. That was the goal. So that is what Prabhupada did. And because of that, now, even Prabhupada is glorified almost throughout the day. If you go to all the continents, 7 continents, different cities and all, this 7:30 or let's say 7:15, morning 7:15 a.m. Right now there is 7:15 a.m. in some other city. Here we are speaking Bhagavatam, but some other place they are speaking, singing Guru Vandana, performing puja. So because of that, so we all are. So in the purport, he said that such a person, the devotees who are dedicated their life to the preaching, they should be worshipped by, by jnanis, by poets, by philosophers, of course, general mass. So honoring such a person. So this is what, you can see, this preaching is very important. Narada Muni did it. Then those followers in the steps of Narada Muni, such as Prabhupada did it. Then followers of Prabhupada in their step, his disciples are doing. Then others also doing. Then of course preaching is not simply speaking. This hearing, Sravanam is one. But Kirtana is one and Sravanam also important. So preaching can happen only when there are others to listen to, correct? So this class may not happen unless all of you hear, correct? So therefore the class is because of you. And of course if person is very devoted, great enlightened person, if nobody is there also he will give lecture. Prabhupada did it. As some of you know, in New York he scheduled one class, Śrīmad Bhāgavatam class in the evening. Advertised also, regular coming. Someday nobody came. Prabhupada still gave a class. Because such the Uttamadhikaris, they can see, here are some ants are moving around, some insects are moving around. Okay, let them also hear Kirtan, let them also hear Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. Some of them through the sound, they may not understand too much, but holy enemy is very strong like a medicine. Correct? So how many of you know what is there inside that COVID vaccine? We don't know. But we took it, it worked. Correct? Similarly, the glory of holy name, not everyone knows. The people, humans don't know, animals don't know, dog don't know, insect don't know. But still, Kirtan is going on. That sound, vibration went inside because sound vibration is like a medicine. It went in, it acted. Okay, so that is brahmana. Now, last 2 words. Devatam Mahat. So, Devatam Mahat. So, Devatam is the worshipable. Even to Krishna. The even Supreme Lord worships such preachers, the brahmanas, who dedicate their life for teaching glories of Supreme Lord, teachings all over the world. And Krishna says they are most dear to him. In the Bhagavad Gita, the last, you will see that Krishna is saying that all these devotees are, so much dear. There is no one dear than one who teaches teachings of Bhagavad Gita to others. Someone who is teaching Bhagavad Gita to others, say other devotees, such a person is most dear to Krishna. Who is saying that? Krishna is saying. Correct? So in this verse, Narada is saying that one who preaches goes to three lokim, all the three worlds, to teach Supreme Lord message and inspire them to take up Krishna consciousness, inspire them to take up bhakti in their life, to make their life successful. Such a person is worshipable by Supreme Person of Godhead. Krishna himself worships such person. So do you have any such example? Of course, this is not a theory. It might sound a theory. Narada himself is an example. As you know, Sri Krishna, so he made his kingdom in Dwaraka. In Dwaraka, of course, they had opulent, many palaces. And what to do with those palaces? Occupied by Krishna, family, others, and everybody. So it was a very glorious place, very opulent place. Then once Narada heard that Krishna has married 16,000 wives. Of course, he knew he married earlier 8 wives, the principal wives. Who are the principal wives? Starting with Rukmini Devi. Correct? So Rukmini, Satyabhama, Jambavati, so like that, Kalinda, so the Mitravanda, like that he already married. So they are called as principal main wives, the first 8 glorious wives. So of course, Krishna's goal is not to marry all these women. So he married because they desired to marry him. Otherwise, Krishna didn't put any effort to go and find a suitable bride or a suitable woman for him. They desired so much. They said that if you come and don't marry me, I will, give up my life. Rukmini Devi has written a letter to Krishna. Krishna, so my brother has arranged marriage with the Sisupal. I don't want to marry Sisupal. I want to marry you. Of course, I have not seen you. I have only heard your glory. Simply by hearing glory of Krishna, this Rukmini Devi developed so much of desire. She said, if I marry, I only marry Krishna, nobody else. So she described her agony that tomorrow is my marriage. You are in, where? You are in Dwaraka. I am here in Vidarbha. Distance 1,000 kilometers. Do something. Please come and take me. Doesn't matter even if it is kidnapping, just before the marriage. So Krishna did, that's how Rukmini came. But anyway, fast forward, this Narakasur. So this Narakasur, who is Narakasur? So this Narakasur is actually son of Vraja-ra and Bhumi Devi. Supposed to be a devotee, a person who is born to a Bhumi Devi and Vraja-ra is the father. But Narakasur, even though he is born to Supreme Lord and Mother, but this fellow became a demon. Sometimes due to association, bad association. Correct? Some people are born to a great Mahatma, but they are not Mahatmas. They have become drunkard. Correct? You, for example, you go and find out on who is the son of Gandhi, Mahatma Gandhi. Has he become Mahatma? Some of them became drunkard also. Correct? This is happened due to bad association. So association is very important. Association of saintly people. Association is emphasized in bhakti. In fact, the first step or the first element of bhakti is to have a association of bhaktas. If you have association of bhaktas, automatically you also become slowly bhakta. Correct? Association. Jaisa sang, vaisa rang. You are known by company that you keep. If you keep a company of devotees, you become a devotee. If you a company of politicians, you become another politician. You become a company of drunkards, slowly you become also a drunkard. Correct? So this is association, the power of association. So this Narakasur, what he has done, he has captured 16,000 princesses. So he was very powerful. He went to heavenly planets, other planets, various other kingdoms, fought with those kings, defeated them, killed them, captured their daughters, and then brought all of them and put them in captive jail. So, harassing them also with, to satisfy desire. This was the problem. So, Krishna once went along with Satyabhama and killed. Why Satyabhama? Because this Narakasur had a boon that if anybody kills, only my mother can kill. Not even Lord Vishnu, not father, only mother can. So Bhudevi, mother means very devoted, we know. Correct? Mother may not kill, that's why he has got that kind of boon. But anyway, so in this situation, Satyabhama, so he's sort of is a representation of Bhudevi. Satyabhama and Krishna went, and then in the war, so somehow the situation was created, so then he was killed. So after that, all the 1,000 wives are released. So this message went to Narada. Now Narada is very curious. He wants to know how Krishna is leading his family life and managing 16,108 wives. Some are saying 6,008 wives. Some say that the princesses in Arakasur, were 16,100. Some are saying 16,000. Anyway, 6,000 plus. Okay, so many. How is he managing? You know that Narada Muni knows that just managing one wife is so difficult. But Krishna is taking care of 16,000 wives. And he heard that Krishna is able to expand himself into 16,000 and get married in different palaces, following all the rituals. So this is, he heard. Anyway, he went to Dwaraka to see this glory. So he went to palace number 1. They had innumerable residences. Each wife has her own dedicated palace, by the way. It's not like all the 16,000 wives are living in one palace. You know that. If the 16,000 wives will live in one palace, there will be Mahabharata only, quarrel. So Krishna knows how to manage them. So he created 16,000 palaces. Each palace is given to one wife, and the first palace is Rukmini Devi. So obviously when he entered into Dwaraka city, so Dwaraka city beauty is described very nicely in other cantos. Anyway, very beautiful Dwaraka city. Then he finally reached the residence of number 1, that is Rukmini Devi. So there in the morning he entered into there. It was a summer time, till summer time. So at that time Krishna was, where was he? He just sitting to bath, and he took bath, and he just sat on a bed of Rukmini Devi. At that time Rukmini Devi took this chamara, and she is doing chamara for Krishna. Then here comes Narada Muni. The moment Narada Muni entered into the residence, so what did Krishna do? Immediately got up. Then did Danda Namaskar Pranam. Because Krishna is the king, Dwarakadis. He is wearing a helmet, that Kirita and all full attire, ready to go to the palace. But immediately he did a Danda Namaskar Pranam, then touched the lotus feet of Narada Muni. So there is the honoring. After that, he made him to sit down on his throne, then asked everybody to bring all the paraphernalia and wash his lotus feet. After washing, what do we do? That water, not throw away into gutter. No, he took it and sprinkled on his head and put it on everybody, sprinkled in various places in the palace, in that Rukmini's palace. He didn't go to Satyama palace, correct? Only restricted, because otherwise it will be a problem. So he just did there. So this way sanctified. What Krishna is doing? He is showing us. Krishna is the supreme God. He doesn't have to do this Pada Puja of a devotee. But he is, because he was a Grahastha, to a Grahastha family, when you have such brahmanas come into your house, some honorable person come into your house, what do? You respect them, honor them. So this is Vedically honoring them is, washing their lotus feet. In fact, even now also, if you go to some villages, here is a light and adhikari has come, so they give you one tub of water. What for what? Sometime you wash yourself, then you enter into house, and if you are a very honorable person, they will wash your feet. They will at least put and then wash. It's very common. Then when you are entering, they will do arati for you. Invoke auspicious. So much of respect. Similarly, Krishna was a Grahastha, so he was exhibiting this ideal Grahastha life. That's why we talk about ideal family life. Then of course Narada Muni accepted. Why did he accept? He knew Krishna is Supreme God. But he knows Krishna wants to show, therefore he tolerated. So devotees, don't want Krishna to worship them. But, so here is the Krishna, here is the pastime, Leela. So let it happen. So you see, ideal family. Then after that he went to another house, next Satyabhama house. So there Krishna is doing different things. Next, like this, you come in the morning, so by the time you this namaskar and puja over, at least 1 hour. Then you go to next house, other house, like this, you keep on going. Some places Krishna is taking care of kids. Some places he is, having discussion with others. Some other palace, he is talking about how to rule the kingdom. Some other palace talking about well-being of citizen, how to, set up new highways so that they can go faster. All this discussion. Some places, he is a king, obviously, having discussion with the ministers. So like this, Krishna expanded himself, his plenary expansion, 16,108 expansions, each place having a personal one-to-one activity. Correct? So of course at that time, just before Narada leaving, Narada Muni asked Krishna, Krishna asked Narada Muni, please tell me what can you do, how can I serve you? Narada Muni says, okay, Lord, so please make sure that I never forget your lotus feet. That means I am always engaged in your service. So I always glorifying the Supreme Lord. So you can see, so like that there are other Brahmanas. So Sudama was his classmate, but Brahmana in Sandipini ashram. So they went to, finally after Krishna finishing pastime in the Vrindavan, Vrindavan, then he went to Mathura. From Mathura, he was not educated in worldly matters. Correct? He was in this Gokul. In Gokul, all are simply, what are they doing? Tending cows. Correct? So that's what they were doing. But when he comes to Mathura, then after defeating or killing these Kamsa and all, establishing Ugrasena, then thought, oh, Krishna had 16, but he didn't take any education. And they sent him to Ujjain ashram, that Sandipini ashram. So there he had a classmate. So this Sudama. So see Sudama, after they graduate, they went to their respective places. Then this Sudama, of course, went to his Sudama Puri, that called Porbandar, in the Gujarat, neighboring place of Dwaraka. So there he also married and had 27 children. But this Brahman was very poor. Very difficult to even survive. They hardly get any, alms to satisfy their food, either to themselves or the children. So one day the wife said, so you have a friend. You told me that Krishna is your friend. He's a Dwarakadhish, king of Dwaraka. Why don't you have a meeting with him? The king might, give you some employment with high salary, or might bestow with some opulence. Anyway, so he went there along with, some chipped rice. So there he visited. So the moment he stood in front of the palace, he was a poor Brahmana. Poor Brahmana means he doesn't have a, yellow dhoti. He just had some broken and dirty dhoti. Then this guard said, who are you? They says, I'm friend of Krishna. They laughed at him. But he said, hey, can you please, tell that your friend Sudama has come. That's all you do. Anyway, the moment Krishna heard Sudama, he came running, hugged him, and took him inside his palace and served him just like he served Narada Muni. So washed his feet. Then he was given, godly delight. They put a new cloth, and Krishna, made so that he took a bath with sandalwood soaps, and so nicely. Then he gave him his own bed, and then and offered him bhoga. So much of seva was done. Then after that, Krishna was very curious. Asked him, okay, Bhabi, she might have sent something for me also. So then somehow he snatched his that cheap rice, he ate with so much of pleasure. Because this was brought with love. So Krishna took it and ate. Not only he ate it, he also distributed others, like Rukmini. Others, everybody ate. So happy. So you can see Krishna is worshipping such great Brahmanas who dedicate their life. Okay? So from this, the conclusion is that Krishna is Bhakta Vatsala. Right? So obviously those devotees, Brahmanas, who are able to take risk, who are able to go to different part of the world, not just the earth, but also even Triloka, just like Narmani, we have to go. Such people, such persons are worshipable by Krishna. So therefore, they are also worshipable by all the people, including ourselves. That is one of the reasons why we perform Guru Vandana every day at 7:10 or 7:15 to 10-15 minutes, worshipping Prabhupada. Because Prabhupada is coming in that line. Brahma, Gaudiya, Parampara. So in this Parampara, Brahma to Narada, Narada to Vyasamuni, like this is continuing. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then various other gurus, then Prabhupada. So we are worshipping Prabhupada. So this way we are honoring Prabhupada for his glorious service by inspiring all of us. And how is inspiring? Prabhupada is not directly coming and preaching me directly, but he is teaching us through his books. So we developed love of Prabhupada simply by reading his books. Simplify by reading his charitra. His charitra is very glorious. So simply by reading that, getting some inspiration. Right? So these books are inspiration. So this is Prabhupada's work. So you don't have to physically be with Prabhupada, but you can, Vani and Vapu. So we are the Vani Sevakas. Because Prabhupada is no more here, so he went to Siba's world. Of course, he is there in the form of Murti, so we need to develop that vision, but through this teaching. So you can see they become honorable. So as you can see, concluding, not only worshipable by us, but worshipable by Lord Sri Krishna, who is Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is Krishnasya Jagat Atmanaha. So this Krishna is the Atma, life and soul of all the creation. Such a person worships preacher. Okay, then what to speak of us? So this is actually, this verse is all about concluding with a glory of a preacher. A grahastha need to be preacher. A grahastha is becoming preacher. You may not always travel to all the places, but you can preach by simply being a best devotee. Suppose you become very best devotee yourself. Others will see, oh, here is a nice devotee. He is working here, but such a nice person. Very tolerant, very helpful, very kind, very compassionate. Whenever he comes to my office, he will come with some prasada, some Krishna prasada and give it to me. When I am feeling dejected, he give one hug. So he become very glorious. So preaching can be done in many ways. Correct? So preaching doesn't mean that just sitting here and giving a class. Preaching also means being a best recipient of the knowledge that is coming from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, listening. Correct? Preaching means being a nice person. So preaching can be done in many, many ways. Those who are doing Sankirtan, they are also preachers. Okay? So different way, inspiring others. Some or other, you inspire other person. Through your good quality, through your activities, so you can be a preacher. And then of course, those who preach the, three lokim, and such persons are worshipable of Krishna. Krishna himself said that, and he has exhibited this quality with many, many examples that we discussed. One is that Narada visiting Dwaraka, other is his friend Sudama coming to there, and Krishna worshipping that person. Like that, there are many, many examples. Even in Lord Rama life also, Lord Rama also, did worship of Shiva. We know that Lord Vishnu is the highest among everybody. No one is higher than him, no one is equal to him. But still, Lord Rama exhibits sometimes his own worshipping of Shivalinga. So, because Shiva is Vaishnavan Yata Shambhu. He is one of the highest Vaishnava, greatest devotee. So, he is showing that quality that, because inspiration. When the king performs, then everybody will follow that king. They imitate or follow. So, whatever great person does, common people follow it. So therefore, if someone is holding a higher position, so his quality, character is very, very important. So that the rest of the people can follow, the mass can follow that person. Yeah. So this is also Krishna says. And that is why Krishna is doing that. When he appears in the earthly planets or this material world, he also demonstrates ideal grastha, ideal family, like Sri Rama. He has demonstrated how to be ideal son, how to be ideal king. Correct? That's why we say we want Rama Raja. The kingdom of Rama, then we will all be happy, we will be very devoted, very, ideal persons. Good citizens will be there. So that will flourish and people can live peacefully. Okay? So with that, let me stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. So let me take this question. The kids who always attend the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam class, So they need to go to school, so school starts early. So they have written a question. So the question reading as it is, Prabhu, you said how if you preach Krishna glories, he is the most dear to Krishna. So then why do most of the problems and sufferings come to the preachers of Krishna consciousness? They try to give a book to someone, but the person does not take. Then they get angry. So why can't Krishna make it smooth for them? So the question is, so preachers are taking so much of difficulty, they are so much suffering, and yet still doing Krishna consciousness. So saying that if you try to give, let's say for example, nectar of instruction, small book to somebody, not everyone smile at you and get the book. Some of them get angry. They might say, get away. They might say, get away, and they might hit you, and the book may fly like that other place. This happens. So this Mataji is asking, why can't Krishna make it smoother? Why can't make it simple? The moment I take Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Prabhu, please take it. Immediately you take it and give me $1,000. Why can't Krishna do that? That's the question he's asking. Obviously, Krishna is actually testing us. So Krishna is making it easy. The fact that you are able to even hold a book, holding Sat Pavitra, Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, holding a Śrīmad Bhāgavatam is not different from Krishna. Correct? If I am holding Krishna, how much honor, privilege. Correct? So much honor and privilege holding this book. So, that is glorious. Krishna is allowed to touch. Can you go and touch anybody you like? If you go and touch anybody you like, they will say, oh, this is sexual harassment. They will put a case against you and finished. You lose your job, you lose position, all this gone. But Krishna is very kind. His Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela, books, everything is Krishna. So such honorable, we have touched it. Krishna allowed the touch. So already first accomplishment we have done. Now we like it. Very nice. Oh, this is so good. I want to share with others. So you go and try to share this book with others. So not everyone accept. So that is why Krishna is saying that in the beginning stage. So beginning stage, you preach to devotees who are already friendly audience. Correct? So in the beginning stage, you don't go to a pub and give them a book. They are already drunken state, drinking wine and Victoria bitter alcohol. Such people, you give them, what do they do? They might, in the drunken mode, they might do. But what do you do in the beginner? You do that way. But if you become enlightened person like Narada Muni, at that time, because you are so much, glowing, and they accept. Like Prabhupada. See, Prabhupada also went and preached. Where did he preach? Bowery in New York. What is this Bowery? Bowery was famous for only all the drunken people. Correct? So, in such a place. So, because Prabhupada was very powerful preacher, powerful personality, with his purity, he is able to transform their heart. Narada Muni is able to transform famous hunters like this Valmiki. But can we do that? May not be. Correct? So Lord Buddha has transformed Angulimala. Angulimala, who is Angulimala? So this was a person living in forest. Anyone who passing through that forest in his path, what does he do? He will cut all the fingers and make even mala. Mala of like this, I hold mala of flowers. Angulimala. If I was Angulimala, I would be having flower of the fingers of all of you. Correct? So such person. So Lord Buddha, usually everybody become fear of that person. If you see 1 kilometer from there, run away from there. But whereas Lord Buddha is able to go so royally, hear him also. This Angulimala surprised. Who is this such a courageous person, enlightened person coming with no fear at all? Correct? So like that. So that pure person, the pure preacher is fearless. Because he has taken Bhajavure Mana Sri Nanda Nandana Abhaya Charnaravinda. He has taken shelter of lotus feet of Krishna. Because of that he has become fearless. Abhaya. No Bhaya. In fact, Prabhupada's name is Abhaya Charna. Correct? We always say Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Sometimes we go Prabhupada. Who is Prabhupada? Even Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj is also Prabhupada. Prabhupada is the one who has taken shelter of Prabhu, Lord Vishnu. But the real name of Prabhupada is Abhaya-charana. So he is not only Abhaya in his name, but also in his quality, in his activity, fearless. So such a fearless person can go. Yeah. So we need to become purified. Then as you can see, the preacher has to be tolerant. So even though you are distributing books and people get angry, so now, so are you tolerant? So as our consciousness moves from, beginning neophyte devotees to Madhyama devotees, then to Uttama devotees. So Uttama devotees have highest tolerance, whereas we have little tolerance. That's why I feel these people are angry. Correct? So so we need to enhance our tolerance. And why can't Krishna make smoother? Of course, Krishna, depending upon our level of consciousness, he creates the situation for our own good. Suppose if we make everything smoother, we may not take it this seriously. Correct? So he demonstrating that sometimes he is making our life bit difficult for our own glory. Actually, it would have been very difficult. Prabhupada and Acharya said that the amount of karma that we have got is so much of difficult, millions and millions of life, that karma cannot be burnt even if you live for millions. But because you are taking shelter of Krishna, so therefore Krishna is taking everything, making it easy. So he is only expecting you to, other people become angry. But earlier, as I said in the beginning, that when devotees not even distributing a book, when they do just chanting Sankirtana, Kirtana in the Swanson state, those devotees were captured and put into Melbourne jail just for doing Kirtan. Now they are not doing. Correct? If you give a book, they are not putting into jail. They are just saying, okay, I am not interested in. So therefore, we also need to be tolerant. If a preacher, let's say you are distributing a book, if somebody doesn't take, no problem, thank you, Hare Krishna. You exhibit your love or good quality. Then the person, next time, this person, I was so harsh to this person, but he so nicely treated me. Next time, you say, he will buy the book. Yeah. So therefore, we also need the art, learn art of preaching, art of book distribution, then depending upon person, place and situation, develop the tolerance. In spite of someone getting angry on you, but you have responded not by anger, by your peaceful nature. Then next time that person will become a devotee. In fact, you will become a great devotee. Actually, the people who are the most harshest, and if they take up, they become a pure devotees. All these persons like hunters, like Valmiki Muni, all this Angulimala, they became greatest devotees, celebrated. But others who are okay, all right, they come and go, it's all right. We don't see their names in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. So the names that we see in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam are the devotees who tolerated the most, like Prahlad Maharaj. That's why we have several chapters dedicated to Prahlad Maharaj. And he is one of the 12 Mahajanas. Only 12 positions throughout all the history from Satya Yoga to Kali Yoga. Only 12 persons are recognized as Mahajanas, not everyone. Correct? And because of their tolerating nature, because of their ability to tolerate and still inspire others. Yeah, so Prahlad Maharaj became, so that is why we got not only some chapters on the cover page, Prahlad is there. Yeah, exactly, isn't it? Yeah. Just like, what is that? Time magazine. Person of the year. They can't put everybody's photo, correct? To become a person of the year and appear on the Time magazine cover, the monthly magazine, you must have done something great. Correct? Something great. So then only you appear there. Here on the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, the Lord glory. So when Prahlad is here, so because of that glorious tolerance, in spite of trouble he has undergone, that we are not undergoing. People are just expressing anger, they are not slapping you. They are not physically getting angry. I mean, they may be showing anger on their face, but they are not transferred physically to you. So if our mind is truly Krishna consciousness, what happens? We will be peaceful. This is also said. One who is divine consciousness, that person will have a intelligence which is spiritual, and such person with spiritual intelligence spiritual intelligence guiding the mind will be steady. When the mind is steady, that person is peaceful. When he is peaceful, he will be happy. Correct? So therefore, finally, if you are a pure Krishna conscious person, then that external will not disturb you. Krishna says, Sitosa Sukadukada, including the Sita of others. That is anger. Anger is a Sita, correct? If some people become angry, it's like, you like a heavy heat burning. Even in winter, you feel sweating. Correct? So therefore, this heat is not just the heat from sunlight. The heat can also come from anger of others. Yeah. So then, if you are Krishna consciousness, you will be like Prahlad. And Prahlad tolerated, even though so much a problem, he is simply chanting, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Why? He became a nice disciple of Narada Muni, followed very perfectly the instruction. Then he became Abhaya. Okay? I hope this answers. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Time for Prasada. Hari Bol. Granthara Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki.